Basic operation on fraction. The basic operations are 1. Addition, 2. Subtraction, 3. Multiplication, and division. So these are the operations that we want to talk about in the basics operations of fraction. Addition of fraction. Before we can add two or more fractions together, we must sure that the fractions to be added have equal denominator. If they do not have equal denominator, we have to find the lowest common multiple, which we call LCM of the denominator. So let's have the first example. Said add up 2/7 plus 1/7. In having this, our observation is they both have same denominator. So since they have the same denominator, we write 7. 7 in 7, it is 1. 1 times 2, we have 2, plus 7 in 7 is 1. 1 times 1, it will give us 1. So therefore, giving us 3/7. So that is having the first example, like adding up this, it will give us 3/7. Another example that relates to those that have same denominator, we have 2/11 plus 9/11. So what your observation is, they both have same denominator. So since they have the same denominator, 11 in 11 is 1. 1 times 2, we have 2, plus 11 in 11 in denominator of 9, we have 1. 1 times 9, we have 9. So everything gives us 11/11, which is equal to 1. That is the examples that have same denominator. So now let's have an example they have a different denominator. We have example 3. We have add 2/5 plus 4/9. So your first observation is here the two denominators are different from each other. So we need to find the lowest common denominator, LCMs of denominator. The LCM of denominator is the product of the denominator. That is to say, LCM will be 5 times 9. So that is the LCMs of the denominator. So which is equal to 45. Now, in having this, so what are you now going to do to make this denominator to be 45? Also this to be 25, meaning that 2/5 can be 2 times 9 all over 5 times 9. So it will give you 18/45. So at the same time, 4/9 can be 4 times 5 over 9 times 5, which will give us 20/45. So it means that 2/5 plus 4/9 can be written as 18/45 plus 20/45. So they now back to our rules that they have same denominator. By writing it up like this, we have 45, 18 plus 20, which is equal to 2. By adding 18 and 20, we have 38 over 45. So, since 38 and 45 do not have the same common fraction, the result is a simple form. So, the final answer, which is 2 over 5 plus 4 over 9, will give us 38 over 45. So, that is the answer for that. So, let's also have another example that relates to additions of fractions of different denominator. So let's have example 4. What is 3 over 8 plus 2 over 7? So now here the LCMs of two denominator is, so our LCM, that's the first thing you must consider, 8 times 7, so which is equal to 56. So now in having 56, what you are now going to do to make 8 to be 56, and what you make it to be 56, you use to multiply 3. So meaning that 3 over 8 plus 2 over 7 is equal to, so by the time you multiply 8 with 7 to give 56, so mean that 3 times 7 over 8 times 7 now plus 2 times 6 over 2 times 8, yeah. So 2 times 8 over, so this is 7 times 8. So therefore, this will give you 21 over 56 plus 16 all over 56. So you have turned a fractions that they do not have the same denominator, but you have now turned them to the point whereby they have the same denominator. So therefore, you only have the numerator together. That 21 plus 16 will give us 37. So meaning that 3 over 8 plus 2 over 7 will now be, by adding these two together, we have 37 all over 56. So the final answer will now be 37 over 56. So that is how we had fractions. So under the basic operations on fractions, on addition of fraction, these are the logics that we use to add them up. So we are still going to some certain example that have improper fraction with proper fraction to add them together, so we know what we are going to get. But before we proceed, let's have a class work that will test our brain. Maybe we are getting what we are doing or not. So let me write it out, the class work. So let's have the class work. Evaluate the following. Evaluate the following. Let's say 1, 2 over 9 plus 5 over 9, 2, 3 over 13 plus 4 over 13, 3, 22 over 23 plus 12 over 23. We have 4, 6 over 7 plus 15 over 7. Let's have the number 5. 18 over 25 plus 22 over 25. Number 6, we have 3 over 8 plus 6 over 11. So we still proceed. Number 7, we have 9 over 13 plus 2 over 3. We have 1 over 9 plus 7 over 8. Number 9, 5 over 9 plus 7 over 15. So number 10, 11 over 15 plus 3 over 5. So these are the classworks that I want you to do. You submit it to the comment section in YouTube. This will change the levels of your examinations to know exactly where you understand what we are doing. This is a class. It is not just a workout video lectures. It's a complete class that you too can able to know the certain things that you have might able to have grasped from what we have been doing so far. So let me read it again. That we have they evaluate the following in this classwork: 2 over 9 plus 5 over 9. Number 2, 3 over 13 plus 4 over 13. Number 3, 22 over 23 plus 2 over 23. 4, 6 over 7 plus 15 over 7. Number 5, 18 over 25 plus 22 over 25. 6. 3 over 8 plus 6 over 8. 6 over 11. 9 over 13 plus 2 over 13. 1 over 9 plus 7 over 8. The 9. 5 over 9 plus 7 over 15. 10. 11 over 15 plus 3 over 5. So these are the classwork that you must do to test the levels of our brain. But still recall, fractions still go further to some certain stage. So which we are going next. So evaluate 2 whole number 1 over 7 plus 5 whole number 3 over 5 plus 8 whole number 1 over 3. The first, in solving these questions, the first thing you need to do, collect all the integers together and then the fraction part together. That is to say, what I'm just trying to say here is that solution for having 2 whole number 1 over 7 plus 5 whole number 3 over 5 plus 8 whole number 1 over 3. So what to do is the integer part is 2 plus 5 plus 8 plus 2. The fractional part is 1 over 7 plus 3 over 5 plus 1 over 3. So these are the two parts that you must add together. We call it integer part plus fractional part. Fractional. So these are the two parts. So for having this, 2 plus 5 is 7 plus 8. We have 15 plus. So now, what is the XCM for this? For 7, 5, and 3. The XCM for 7, 5, and 3 is by multiplying them together. That 7 times 15, because 5 times 3 is 15. 7 times 15 is 105. So that is when you now start your fraction addition. That 7 in 105 will give us 15. 15 times 1, we have 15 plus 5 in 105. Your answer will multiply 3. So we have 63. Now plus. So therefore, 3 in 105 will give us 35. So the 35 times 1, let me continue, plus making 35. So it will now give us 15 plus 113 divided by 105. So which is Now, this is improper fraction. You now take it to proper fraction to have 15 plus it will one whole number 8 over 105. So having this, and this is 15 plus 1 whole number, so you add 15 plus 1 together to have 16 whole number 8 over 105. So this is the answer for this fraction. Let's also have another meaningful example. He said, simplify. Two number 1 over 4 plus 1 whole number 1 over 2 plus 2 whole number 1 over 4 plus 1 whole number 1 over 2. So, in simplifying this, as I've said earlier, that the first thing you need to do, you add up the integer parts to have 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, now plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 over 2. So, adding all this together, we have 2 plus 1 making 3, 3 plus 2 making 5, 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. So, therefore, is equal to 6 plus. So, what is the XCM? The lowest common multiples of 4, 2, 4, 2. It will give you 4. So 4 in 4, 1. So 1 plus 2 in 4, 2. 2 times 1, we have 2. Plus 4 in 4, 1 times. So 2 in 4, we have 2. 2 times 1, we have 2. So therefore, it will give us 6 whole number plus. So everything will be 6 over 4. Recall that 6 over 4, 4 can go in 6 in one time. It will remain 2, so it will be 6 plus 1 whole number 2 over 4. It can still be reduced. So to have, so 1 plus 6, it will give us 7 plus 2 over 4. Meaning that the final answer will now give you to say 7 plus 1 over 2. 1 over 2 by the time 2 divide 4. So therefore, which is equal to 7 whole number 1 over 2. So the final answer will now be 7 whole number 1 over 2. So that is how it is being solved. So let's also have another meaningful example that can give us the better orientations about these questions, how to solve it. The question said that add 5 whole number 3 over 4 and 7 whole number 1 over 5. Solution. So therefore, if we have 5 whole number 3 over 4 plus 7 whole number 1 over 5 is equal to, so the first thing you need to do is to add up the integer part, which is plus. It will now have 3 over 4 plus 1 over 5, so which is equal to 12 plus, that is 3 over 4 plus 1 over 5. So this is what you're now going to do. So therefore, your XCM here will be 12 plus. So what is XCM is 20 So 4 in 20 will give us 5. 5 times 3 will give us 15, plus 5 in 20 is 4. 4 times 1 will give us 4. Therefore, it will now be 12 plus 19 over 20. So, therefore, it will be 12 whole number 19 over 20, since it cannot be reduced than this. So, let's have a classwork that relates to this. So let's have this 1, 2 number 3 over 5 plus 4 number 1 over 8 plus 3 number 1 over 2. Another example, 1 number 3 over 4 plus 6 number 7 over 9 plus 5 number 1 over 3. 3 we have 9 number 1 over 9 plus 8 number 1 over 2 plus 1 number 1 over 5, and that one is 2 number 3 over 13 plus 2 number 1 over 5 plus 8 number 3 over 10. So let's have number 5. You have to solve all these. 2 over 9 plus 1 over 36 plus 3 over 8, the 6 parts, 2 over, that is 5 over 17 plus 3 over 3 over 17 plus 1 onto 2 over 12, 7, 19 over 45 plus 1 number 7 over 9 plus 2 number 1 over 5, 8. We have 2 number 2 over 7 plus 5 number 5 over 8 plus 3 number 9 over 14 plus 1 number 1 over 4. So you have to solve all these and give us the answer in the comment section. Just type your answer or cross check, maybe you get it all right. So this will be an opportunity for you to check what you are able to have learned from what you have been doing since, and also please subscribe to this channel so you, anytime I'm releasing video, you're able to see it and able to practice and give it to your children or you personally. So we are going to the next basic operations of fractions now, which is subtractions on fraction. So that's what we're going to. Subtractions of fraction. Subtractions of fractions follows closely the procedures in additions of fraction. However, care must be taken when dealing with subtractions of fractions, especially when what is being subtracted from a value is greater. So let's have an example that relates. They said evaluate 6 over 13 minus 3 over 13. So what do you observe from this is they both have the same denominator, which is 13. So now, and 6 over 13 and minus 3 over 13 will only just give you 6 minus 3, which is equal to 3 over 13. So that is a direct question so far because they have the same denominator. So simply, let's have like a question like simplify. If you have to simplify a question like 18 over 19 minus 4 over 19 minus 7 over 19. So because of the fact that they have the same denominator, so we just have to rewrite 18 minus 4 minus 7. So 18 minus 4 minus 7, this is minus 4 minus 7 will give us minus 11. So 18 minus 11 will surely give us 7 over 19. So that is just how to subtract a value that have a different, the same denominator. So we are now going to the next example, that's solving a value that have a different denominators. So let's have this. Evaluate 5 over 6 minus 2 over 3. So the lowest common multiple of 6 and 3 is 6. As we all know that the lowest common multiple for these two denominators is 6. So therefore, the next thing to do is to now write it out to have 5 minus 5 over 6 minus 2 over 3. So is equal to, so since denominator is 6. So 6 in 6 is 1. So therefore we have 5 bracket 1. Where did you see 1? Because 6 can go in 6 at one time. So therefore 3 in 6 is 2. But the first thing we are going to write, it is the minus sign. Minus. So 3 in 6, it is 2. So we have 2 to bracket the 2. That is just a logic to use to solve any fractions like this, as simple as it is. So 5 times 1 is 5 minus 4 over 6, which is equal to 1 over 6. So that is the answer for that. So therefore, let's also have a meaningful example that can also trigger the understandings of this fraction, because this is also a very good example. So let's go to another example. Evaluate 23 over 24 minus 1 over 2 minus 3 over 8. Can you be able to see you have 3 values? So the first thing you need to do is to find the lowest common multiple. So the lowest common multiple of 24, 3, and 8 is 24. So that is the lowest common multiple. So now let's try to analyze how it works. 23 over 24 minus 1 over 2 minus 3 over 8 will now be, so which is 24. It is the lowest common multiple. So to now give you 23 onto 1, because 24 and 24 will give you 1, minus 1 onto this 1, 2 divided by 24 will give us 12. So you write 12 minus 3 onto, so that 8 divided by 24 will give us 3, to be on 3 on 3. So therefore we have 23 minus 12 minus 9 all over 24. So which is equal to, so by the time you subtract 23 minus 21, 23 minus 21 over 24, the final answer will be, so 23 minus 24 will give us 2. That is 2 over 24, which is equal to 1 over 12. So the final answer for that example is 1 over 12. If able you to follow this procedure, you will surely get the correct answer. So now we want to solve the improper fractions of how to subtract fractions. For those of improper fractions, you have to consider the integers and the fraction part. So let's have an example. An example said, evaluate 8 whole number 3/4 minus 2 whole number 1/6 minus 5 whole number 1/3. So now in solving this, the first thing to do, collect the integer parts together and the fractional part together. That is to say, having a question like this, 3/4 minus 2 whole number 1/6 minus 5 whole number 1/3 will be, so collecting the integer part together, 8 minus 2 minus 5, now plus, you open a bracket, 3/4 plus 1/6. So you can't put plus because it's minus. You have to consider the minus again. Now minus 1/6 minus 1/3. So now this is now where to consider this is 1/3. So the lowest common multiple for this will give you, so let's consider it, doing it a stage to make it easy. So by adding 8 minus 2 minus 7, the total will give you 1. Here it will be 1 plus 3/4 plus, let's firstly try to solve this because it will make it meaningful. So in solving this, they both have minus. This is minus 6, minus 1/6. So you now rewrite it to have 1 plus 3/4 minus bracket open 1/6 plus 1/3. So now for having 1/6 and 1/3 and the common multiple, you have 1 plus 3/4 minus. So the XM here is 6. It will be 6 in 6, 1 plus 2. So giving us 1 plus 3/4 minus 2 3/6. So if it is 3/6, it means that it will be 1 plus 3/4 minus 1/2. This is where I'm going to, because I know that by removing 1/6 and 1/3 will surely give you the denominator of 2. So what do you now do to make it meaningful? So the XM for these two, it will be 1 plus, this is 4. So we have, if it is 1 plus 4, 4 in 4, we have 3 onto 1 minus 1 onto 2. That is how it will be. So therefore, we have 1 plus 3 minus 2/4, which is equal to 1 plus 1/4. So that is, it means the final answer will give you 1 whole number 1/4. That is the final answer for this. So this is how to solve an improper fractions in having a subtraction between them. So we still proceed again to solve some questions. Having a questions like this, evaluate 1 whole number 3/14 minus 2 whole number 2/7. So you can rewrite it as if 1 plus 3/14 minus 2/7. So therefore we have 1 plus, the XM between these is 14. So 14 in 14, we have 1 minus 2 on 2. So therefore 7 in 14 is 2. Making 2 times 2, we have 1 plus 3 minus 4/14. So which we have, so So instead of writing -1, you can now say 14. 1 is 14 divided by 14 minus 3 over 14 minus 4 over plus 3 over 14 minus 4 over 14. So let's now have the LCM to have 14, making 14 plus 3 minus 4. So therefore, which is 17 minus 4 over 14, which is equal to 13 over 14. So that is how. There's a logical things I did here, which is instead of writing -1 over 14, giving you a little problem. So 1 can also be written as 14 divided by 14. And 3 and this can be written as 3 over 14 minus 4 over 14. So therefore, we have your final answer to be 13 over 14. So that is how. So let's also have another examples that relate to what we are doing since. So we have, it said evaluate 2 whole number 1 over 2 plus 3 whole number over 4 minus 1 whole number 3 over 4 minus 7 over 8 minus 1 all over 3 over 16. So now, in having this, we have, let's try to split it into 2 to make it meaningful, to have like 2 whole number 1 over 2 plus 1 whole number 3 over 4 minus is common around here. We have 7 over 8 plus 1 whole number 3 over 16. So now, in having this, so you firstly consider the integer together. We have 2 plus 1. Open and close the bracket to have 1 over 2 plus 3 over 4. Now minus 7 over 8 plus 1 plus 3 over 16. Able to see. So let's rearrange to have 3 onto. So the LCM around here is 4. This is 4. 2 in 2. 2 in 4, we have 2 plus 3 minus, you now rewrite to have 1 plus 7 over 8 plus 3 over 16. So what I'm just trying to do, I can able to visualize that 8 and 16 might be easy for me to add. That is why I'm splitting it and the way I did this. So therefore, this will now be 3 onto 5 over 4 minus. So let's continue solving this. It will be 3 onto, that is 5 over 4. We have 5 over 4 now minus 1 plus, so 16 is the LCM. So this is what I'm going to, I want to use the value of this, the lowest common multiple between 8 and 16. So therefore, we now have 8 in 16 is 2. So 2 times 7 give us 14. We have 14 plus, now this is 16 on 16, we have 1. So 1 times 3 to give us 3. That is 2, which is, here we have a 3 whole number 5 over 4 now minus, so by the time we add this and this together, we have 17. 1 plus 17 will give us 1 whole number 17 over 16. So now, with this logic, let's rearrange again to have what is meaningful a bit. But before we do this, let's try to re-simplify this. Recall that this will be 3 plus 5 over 4 minus 1 plus 17 over 16. So let me now say that 3 plus 1 whole number 1 over 4 minus 1 plus 1 whole number 1 over 16. Recall that 3 plus 1 will give you 4 whole number 1 over 4 minus. So this is 1 plus 1, 2. So give you 2 whole number 1 over 16. So let's now consider the integer to have 4 minus 2 onto 1 over 4 minus 1 over 16. So which is 2 whole number. So what is the LCM? 16. So 4 in 4. 4 in 16 we have 4 minus 1. So which we have 2 whole number. This is, we have 2. Now 2 plus, sorry, you're supposed to have plus here, not multiplication, plus. So 2 now plus. So this will now give you 3 whole number over 16. So the final answer will now be 2 whole number 3 over 16. So that is all. So for the answer. So for we to take much of our brain of what we have been able to have been solving things, let's have a meaningful classwork. So to help us solving this. So let's have this. Classwork. So simplify the following. So in simplifying all this, number 1, 15 number 3 over 7 plus 2 number 5 over 6 minus 3 number 1 over 5. Also have this 7 plus 3 number 1 over 2 plus 1 over 1 over 7, 3, 6 number 1 over 2 minus 2 number 1 over 11, number 4, 3 number 7 over 8 minus 1 number 3 over 10 minus 1 number 13 over 24. Let's solve these as the last questions. We have 6 whole number 5 over 12 minus 1 whole number 5 over 12 minus 1 whole number 1 over 3 minus 3 over 11. So take your time to write all these questions. The first one is 15 whole number 3 over 7 plus 2 whole number 5 over 6 minus 3 whole number 1 over 5. 2, 7 plus 3 and a half plus 1 whole number 1 over 7. And number 3, 6 whole number 1 over 2 minus 2 whole number 1 over 11. Question 4, for you not to be convinced. So to make it to convince. So that is just the question. So solve this question and send into the comment sections in YouTube. So for me to get exactly where exactly you really need attentions to attend to. So also make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also turn on your notification on for better instructions. So let's proceed to another basic operations of fraction. Multiplications of fractions. To multiply a fraction by a whole number, multiply the numerator by the number, leaving the denominators unchanged. So the meaning is, anytime you are multiplying a fraction with a whole number, you are only to multiply the fraction with the numerator only. Nothing will happen to the denominator. That is the rules of multiplying a number with a fraction. So let's have an example. Let's say evaluate 2/3 times 5. So in evaluating this, to have 2/3 times 5, it will be 2 times 5/3. That is just the meaning. Or 2 times 5/3 times 1, because 5 is divided by 1 already. To make it a complete fraction, it can be, this is over 1, to make it a complete fraction. So we have 10/3, which is equal to 3 whole number 1/3. That's just the meanings of fractions. Another one is evaluate 2/3 times 3. So in evaluating this, so it will be 2/3 times 3/1, which is equal to 2 times 3/3 times 1, which is equal to 6/2. And 6/2 is equal to 3/6/3 is equal to 2. So that is all. That is the simple way of doing that. So also, maybe we have a question like, somebody says evaluate 2 whole number 1/2 times 3. So the first thing to do is you make this one to be an improper fraction, to have 2 times 2 plus 1, so making 5/2 times 3/1, which is 5 times 3 all over 2 times 1, which is equal to 15/2. And 15/2 is equal to 7 whole number 1/2. So this is how it works. So also, let's also have another meaningful example, to have simplify 2 whole number 1/4 times 30. As I've said earlier, you convert it to improper fraction. 4 times 2 making 8 plus 1. 9/4 times 30/1, which is equal to 9 times 30 all over 4 times 1, which is equal to 270/4. So in dividing this, 4 divided by 26, we have 24, we have 6. So in short, 67 whole number 2/4. So in this, we have 67 whole number 1/2. So this is how to multiply any fractions with a whole number. So now, in continuations of this, before I proceed to any meaningful or basic operations in fraction, I will still have to give you some meaningful classwork that can show maybe you are really getting what we are doing. Let's have this. Let's evaluate this. Let's say 1 number 1/3 times 4. 2 5/8 times 12. 3. Let's have 2 whole number 5/8 times 4. Number 4. Let's have a 2 whole number 3/4 times 2 whole number 5/6. Let's have number 5. 4/9 times 27/32. I have number 6. 1 whole number 1/3. Now times 1 whole number 2/7 times 1 whole number 1/4. Number 7, 2/5 times 1 whole number 1/4 times 1 whole number 1/4. So now you solve all this and you give it to me in the you send it to me in the comment sections in the YouTube. So this is to show that you are really watching what we are doing in the class. So this is a complete class. It's not just a simple mathematics that you just see work and show and work. No, you have to sit attentively, write a note, take your pen, and get in these lectures full. So before we proceed to another, we are able to do the proper way of the basic operations of the fraction. So, but still, we still have to do some parts in solving it. We still have some areas that we have never touched, which we are still going to do now. So this is another shape of solving fraction. We call it word problem involving additions and subtractions. Example, by how much is the sum of 1 whole number 3/4 and 3 whole number 1/7 greater than 1 whole number 3/14? So the meaning of this is that is to say, you just have 1 whole number 3/4 plus 3 whole number 1/7. By how much? When you add these two together, it means you are going to subtract it from 3/14. So, which we are now passing through our stage. So, in having this, let's try to convert it to improper fraction, which is 4 times 3 is 4 plus 3, making 7/4 plus, this is 21, making 22/7 minus, so 14, making 17/14. So, in having the LCM, the lowest common multiples of the 3 value of the denominator, lowest common multiple is 28, because 4, 7, and 14 can go in 28. So we now have 7/4 plus 22/7 minus 17/14 will be, so the LCM here is 28. So the lowest common multiple, as I've said, is 28. So we have 28. So 4 in 28 is 7. So we have 7 onto 7 plus 4 in 27 in 28, we have 4. 4 onto 22 minus 14 in 28, we have 17 onto 2. So in any forms, so we have 49 plus 88 minus 34 over 28. So which is 137 minus 34 over 28. So which will give us 103 over 28. So in 103 over 28 to give us 3 whole number 19 over 28. So that is how we solve a word problems to a normal question. So let's also have another word problems. Let's say example 2. Under the word problems, the question said that find the difference between two whole number 5 over 6 and 1 over 3 over 8. So in having a question like this, so this is find a difference. Difference means you have to subtract the two numbers. So which we have between this and this. So let's convert this one to improper fraction. 6 times 12. 6 times 2, we have 12. 12 plus 5. This is now 17 over 6 minus 8 times 1, 8. 8 plus 3. So we have 11 over 8, which is equal to. So our lowest common multiple here is 24. 6 in 24, we have 4. And 8 in 24, we have 3. So here will be 17 over 17 multiplying by 4 minus 11 multiplying by, depending on this, we can 3, because 8 divided by 24 give us 3. So it will now have 68 minus 33 over 24 is equal to 35 all over 24. So which is, it goes in one whole number 11 over 24. So that is the final answer for this word problem. So there is still another segment that we are still going to solve these more explanations about word problems. So but before we proceed, let's have a little classwork that you can able to solve. So this is a classwork. 1. What fractions of the cake will be left if Adamu ate a third of it and Ngozi ate 1/6 of it? Number 2. What is the sum of 3 whole number 1 over 7 and 4 whole number 2 over 3? 3. What is the difference between 9 whole number 2 over 21 and 1 whole number 1 over 3? 4. By how much is the sum of 2 whole number 3 over 7 and 4 whole number 1 over 5 greater than the product of 2 whole number 3 over 7 and 1 over 7? So solve these 4 word problems examples and send it to the comment sections in the YouTube, so you're able to know what they. So we now go to another sections of the fractions that we are still to proceed today and get the meaningful of what we have been doing since. Still watching, because you have to still learn more about fraction. Dividing fraction by whole numbers. To divide a fraction by a whole number, multiplying the denominator by the number, leaving the numerator unchanged. Let's have an example that illustrates this. So for you to get it better, he said, evaluate evaluate 3 over 4 3 over 4 by 5. So in solving a question like this, we have 3 over 4 divided by 5 will be 3 over 4 times 1 over 5, which is equal to 3 times 1 over 4 times 5, which will be equal to 3 over 20. So this is how to divide a whole number, to divide a fraction by a whole number. Let's have another meaningful example. Evaluate 4 over 5 divided by 3. So 4 over 5 divided by 3 can be equal to, divided by 3 will give you 4 over 5 times 1 over 3, which is equal to 4 times 1 over 5 times 3, which is equal to 4 over 15. So that is how to divide. Let's also solve another example. Let's evaluate 2 whole number 3 over 7. So 2 whole number 3 over 7 divided by 17. So the first thing you need to do is to convert it to improper fractions. First, we have 7 times 2, 14. 40 plus 3, making 17 over 7 divided by 17. And you all know that for dividing a number by 17, 17 over 1. So we have 17 over 7 times 1 over 17. That is just, so by cancel this by this, we have 1 over 7. That is all. So this is how to divide a fraction with a whole number. So now we're also going to how to divide fraction by fraction. That is the next class. Dividing fraction by fraction. To divide a fraction by a fraction, we interchange the denominator with the numerators of the dividend. So, for example, we are to evaluate a value like this. Evaluate 6 over 7 divided by 2 over 21. So what next to do is 6 over 7 to divide 2 over 21 will be 6 over 7 times 21 over 2. So meaning that this we cancel this, we have 3 over 1 times this we cancel this, we also have 3 over 1, which is 9 over 1, which is equal to 9. So that is just the logic of dividing any number, dividing a fraction by fraction. So let's also simplify another meaningful example. You see, simplify 5 over 8 divided by 3 over 7. So in simplify this fact, we have 5 over 8 to divide 3 over 7 will be 5 over 8 times 7 over 3. So therefore we have 5 times 7 to divide 8 times 3. So which is 35 over 24. So 35 over 24 will give you one whole number 11 over 24. So this is just how it will be. So what the meaningful of this example is that they did not divide each other. So to tell you that it's not compulsory that when you try to reciprocate, everything will be in division form. So let's also have an example of improper fractions. The mixed fractions with the proper fraction. How does it work? And how do you do this? Let's also simplify 4 number 1 over 2 to divide 5 over 6. So in having a question like this, to divide 5 over 6, in having a question, the first thing you do, you turn into improper fraction. 2 times 4, we have 8. 8 plus 1, we have 9. 9 over 2 to divide 5 over 6. And for 9 over 2 to divide 9, it means times 6 over 5. That is just the meaning. So in having this, you now have 9 times 6 over 2 times 5, which is equal to this. We cancel this. We have 9 times 3 over 1 times 5 is equal to 27 over 5. So 27 over 5 will be 5 in 25. We have 5. Remain 2, making 2 over 5. So meaning that it will give you 5 whole number 2 over 5. That is the answer. So we still have many ways of solving. It's the way it's being related to word problems. Let's just have a question related to it. The question says that how many 7 over 100 liters are there in 13 over 10 liters of oil. So it's a word problem. How many 7 over 10 liters are there in 13 over 10 liters of oil? So what exactly they are just saying here is that, so what they are saying here is to say that 13 over 10 to divide 7 over 100. So in of this, it will be 13 over 10 times 100 over 7. So by the time this we cancel this, we have 130 over 7 of liter. So 130 over 7, by the time you divide this, we have 18 whole number 4 over 7 liters. So that is the number of the liters. And say how many 7 over 10 liters are there in. So that is, you are going to divide this by 13 over 10. So you are going to give us 18 whole number 4 over 7s of liters. So we have several ways of setting a question relating to dividing a fraction to a fraction. So let's also have an example. Let's say evaluate. We have 2 whole number 4 over 7 to divide 3 whole number 5 over 6. So we have a solution. So the first thing is to convert it to improper fraction. To have it return to 18 over 7 to divide 23 over 6. So which is 18 over 7 to multiply 6 over 23. So the secret there is it will reciprocate. The numerator will change to denominator and denominator will change to numerator. So in of this, we now have 18 times 6 over 7 times 23, which is equal to 108 over 161. So that is all. So let me just solve this as a final conclusions of the answers of the examples. Let's say simplify 6 whole number 2 over 5 plus 2 whole number 4 over 5. So we have 6 whole number 2 over 5 to divide 2 whole number 4 over 5. So it will be 32 over 5 to divide 14 over 5. So in of this, you just have to reciprocate to have 32 over 5 to multiply 5 over 14. So which is, by reducing the facts, we have this to cancel this, we have 32 over 14, which can change to 16 over 7. And 16 over 7, that is 7 in 14 will give us 2. It will remain 2 over 7. So this is the end of the class. So we still have to have a little classwork. So to know exactly what we are able to have been studying since, to get the exact values of what you have been doing. So, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channels and get the proper solution to the classwork. So let's solve these as our classwork. So 1 over 2 divided by 2. 2 whole number 3 over 4 divided by k. Number 3, 1 whole number 1 over 2 divided by 3. 4, 3 whole number 3 over 4 divided by 5x. Number 6, m over y plus p over q divide by, m over y divided by p over q. So you solve this as a classwork and you send the solution to the comment section. So don't forget here to subscribe to the channel. Make sure and you share this video to everyone that involves. You believe they can get 1 or 2 things from this video. So thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this video. Thanks.